All right, hey y'all. So let me turn live chat on. Okay, we're ready to go. It's super late, and I have to be up in like 2.5 hours. So probably won't keep this one very long. Plus, I'm sure probably most people are sleeping like they should be. But I just wanted to talk really quick about the Green New Deal, which is something we've discussed on here before. But look, I know that the Democrats have been talking about the Green New Deal lately, kind of making it seem like they're on board with it. Now, I know that AOC has been bringing this up a lot, and I don't have any personal problem with AOC except for maybe her strategy. I do think that she's one of those people that has her heart in the right place, but I don't agree with the way that she goes about things. All right? But it's a minor critique. What we're here to talk about is the Green New Deal. Now, the Democrats, since they have been. Oh, okay, we got. Hey, independent. Uh, we have to scour over AOC's legislation when proposed. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, like I don't. She doesn't strike me as like a terrible person. Like she's there to like um screw people over or anything. But she is working within the Democratic Party, and when that happens, people tend to go a certain way. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's something about their bubble that they're in or whatever it is, but you know how it is. Once you get in that Democratic Party, it's like when you stare at the abyss stares back. And she's fresh and she's new in it, so I think she's really trying to do the right things, but give her a few years of getting worn down. Who knows? But yeah, the Green New Deal. So they're trying to say that they're going to offer us the Green New Deal, right? What kind of Green New Deal do you think the Democrats are going to give us? The Democrats that take money from the fossil fuel industry and from Wall Street and from whatever corporate donors that they have. What kind of Green New Deal do you think they're going to give us with those donors? What do you think they're going to give us? Nothing. It's going to be watered down. It's going to be garbage. It's going to be a lot of nice, pretty words, but it ain't going to be anything of any real substance. Nothing whatsoever. Now, the actual Green New Deal that the Green Party is proposing is substantive. They will actually give us the change that we need. The Democrats, by the time they're done with it, it's going to be nothing. It's going to be nothing. Even with people in there that actually want to see a real Green New Deal put forward, people like Nancy Pelosi and all the corporate whores that are in the Democratic Party are not going to have it. They won't have it. Hey, Jeremy. So it's going to be another watered down version, another co-opt of the language, and no real change is what I'm seeing. And like I said, there's probably, good people. And look, while I disagree with their tactics, I think that there are good people that are trying to fight within the Democratic Party. I understand that. But I just don't see how they're going to win with that. I don't see the winning strategy in that. So, what are we gonna, what, that's what I don't get. We know with the core issue. Let's get down to the core issue. The core issue with all this stuff, the reason that we don't have universal health care or Medicare for all, the reason why, we can't end our wars, the reason why we can't have a living wage, the reason why we can't have any of this stuff, we can't rebuild our crumbling infrastructure or any of this stuff. What's it come down to? Money and politics. And the Democrats aren't paid to give you a real New Deal, real Green New Deal. They just aren't. Hey, Forsaken. So that's my problem. While there are some good people that are trying to reform it from within, it's just their voices are going to be drowned out. Why? Because we, as a populace, aren't taking to the streets. We aren't making them feel the pressure. What, we're going to not vote for them? What's that going to do to them? What is that going to do to them when they own the voting machines? When the Department of Homeland Security is not even, we can't even just say we're going to vote them out anymore. We're past that. We're past that. You know? And the reason why we're past that is, yet again, money and politics. Money rules everything around them. Everything. So when I'm looking at the core issues and I'm looking at a party, when I've got one person promising me something and then this other person promising me something, well, you got to look at their track record. You do. You got to look at what do I trust these people? Should I trust these people? Have they given me any reason to sit there and to believe the words that are coming out of their mouths? And the Democrats? Not really. No. What have the Democrats done for me? Hold on, let me think. I mean, it's kind of hard when I've got a Democrat like Joe Manchin in office. You know? Kind of hard to have faith in Democratic Party when I have Joe Manchin from my state. And let me go off on a tangent here. The fact that they're trying to put Joe Manchin in charge of anything related to the environment makes my guts like wrench, because this is the same guy that told us that we had to choose between clean water and jobs. When we fought for clean water, he chastised us and said, why don't you want people to have jobs? That's the kind of Democrats that we get. So why should I fight for them? And why should I trust them when they haven't done anything to earn that trust? You know what I mean? The problem, okay, so for a second, so the problem is, how do you get the money out of politics when the people making the decisions on money and politics are the ones taking the money? Exactly. Because it can't come down to voting. That's for damn sure. I don't get this. We are so powerful. We are so many. They are so few. And their arrogance makes them stupid. They have no idea how to survive. Look, people like us, we know how to live paycheck to paycheck. We know how to survive. We can make it. We know hard times. We can deal with it. We can eat ramen. All right, you see Nancy Pelosi eating ramen? You see Joe Manchin eating ramen? Do you see Donald Trump eating ramen? No, they would throw themselves off a building before they did that. Exactly. Wouldn't you like to know? No, neither party has done anything for me or us. I mean, it's not just about me. I mean, but I look at just as in general, neither one of them have. That's why I can't. Look, I have never been Republican. Growing up, I always thought Republican was like something for rich people. Like, I just thought you had to have money to vote Republican. But that was, back in the old days. So now Republican is, it's so bizarre to see it. Like, I see average, you know, working people voting for rich people. I'm just like, when did this happen? But no, neither party has done anything for us. So no, I really don't support either one of them. I support people that are fighting for us, but I really haven't really witnessed those people in those parties. Rama would actually be healthier for Trump to eat. Maybe. What? Trump thought you had to show ID to buy groceries? Is that. Did he really? Oh, bless his rich, stupid heart. That is so dumb. That is so dumb. Really, I know, like, you get them to eat, like, one bowl of ramen, they'd be like, "Oh my god, this is what we've been doing to people?" Oh. You know? It might be their come to Jesus moment, like, "Oh my god, I can't believe we've been inflicting this. This is terrible." Yeah. Oh, hey, Simon. Well, I'm seeing a lot of new people in here. This is really cool. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, yes, yeah, I am. Yeah, it sounds nice when the Democrats say things like Green New Deal and stuff, but yeah, I don't really trust them on it. Not at all. Trump said you have to show ID to buy groceries, like if you pay by credit card. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about the, I didn't hear that reference before. Yeah, I think there's sometimes, I've never been carded for a debit card or a credit card or anything. Oh yeah, honey, I am like Bubba from Forrest Gump. You know how he was with shrimp. That's how familiar I am with ramen. You can put some cheese on it. You can throw some hot sauce in it. You know, there's like a million and one ways that you can cook ramen to make it not be the same ramen that you've had for the past 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and that's why I also try to map out. That's why I really wanted to, and I talked about it once before, or we did, um, but I really, that's why I want to nail down these policies because I want us to have an exact plan of what we want. So that way, when people like the Democrats say things, those pretty words to us, like, just throwing it out there like Green New Deal or jobs or UBI, we know exactly what we want and what we need. So that way, when they say these words, we're not triggered and that way when we say, oh, you want a Green New Deal, so you want all these things, you're going to do all these things, and when they say no, we say, oh, never mind then. I ain't falling for it. Robin with baloney. Oh. Says, Mr. Trump knowingly told the approving crowd, if you go out and you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card. You need ID. No. That's what I'm saying. There are progressives within the Democratic Party that want this. But the thing is if it does catch on, and the Democrats back this, the corporate Democrats, that they will water it down. To nothing. to nothing. Because, I mean, we know that the progressives that are in the Democratic Party, there's just too few at this point. There's too few. And so, with the majority of them being, pretty much, I hate to call them Republicans, because they're all pretty much on the same side, Democrat, Republican. They're all elitist. They're all addicted to that money flow. So they're not going to allow any disturbance in their cash flow. And that's what it all comes down to. Cash. Where they're getting their money from, and are these new bills going to disrupt their cash flow? And for those people that are taking it, because, I mean, we know Hillary Clinton, fracking queen, didn't she go on a fracking tour? Barack Obama, that's going around, and almost in the same breath that he is touting his record for environmentalism, he turned around and, like, in the same breath, boasts about his record oil production here. Those are the people that are in the Democratic Party that we have to worry about, and those are the people that are going to water it down. Hey, Bluebell. Subsidies, okay. Subsidies to oil and gas companies have doubled since the Paris deal. There you go. I mean, my billionaire governor getting subsidies left and right, doesn't pay his taxes. He still owes $2 million to Kentucky. He still has all these fines and people that he's never paid. He doesn't do it. He doesn't have to worry about it. You know why? He's got money. What's he going to do? Go to jail? Who's going to put him in jail? Yeah, Obama was a moderate Republican at best. And didn't he brag about that too? Yeah, him and Hillary and all them, they love to brag about how they'd be considered Republican. I just don't get it. New cars have chip at most places. Don't do the tap yet. Hey, Kevin. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, there's just some people, I mean, like Cal Kalinske. I don't think he's a bad dude, but he believes in reforming the Democratic Party. And let's be honest, I'm one of those people that I think we can set our mind, whatever we set our minds to do, we can do it. So if the overwhelming majority of people want to reform the Democratic Party, we could do it, but we'd have, I mean, it would be a lot of work. And the thing is, we're not ready for that. Like, there's not, I don't see oh, my niece just woke up. Hold on. I hope I didn't wake him up. And then train. Okay. So yeah, I think that we could if we really wanted to do it. People took to the street, did all that, France stuff. But I don't see that happen. Through voting, purely alone voting and all that stuff, no. What are my thoughts on AOC? I think she believes in what I believe in. But I seriously disagree with her strategy. So, that's the only thing. She wants to reform it. Now look, I can't say nothing about reformation because they want to reform the Democratic Party. I named my channel Redneckonomics. I know what a loaded term redneck is. I know what redneck means nowadays. Now, what I'm trying to do by naming my channel that, yeah, I want to go back to the old term. The rednecks that fought for labor rights, that fought with, African American and immigrant workers to join forces to fight for labor rights, I want to go back to what that means, not with this watered down redneck stuff. Because you have what, a Confederate flag in your window and you wear cowboy boots and you drive a truck, now you're a redneck? Boy, you don't know what redneck is. It's not what redneck means to me. I'm trying to bring back the real meaning of it. So yeah, I'm fighting a losing battle with that. But so are the Democrats. Here's the biggest problem that I see with reforming the Democratic Party. Too many people have been burned by them to care about fighting for them. I'm not sure for a second if that's the same Kevin or not. I wonder if it's not. I wonder what happened to that Kevin, because he was on there for a while, and we haven't heard from him. I hope he's okay. I wonder about him from time to time. But I know that at one point that I had 2 Kevins on here. Taking the streets will just get you arrested, waste of time sitting in jail. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a waste of time. I wouldn't say it's a waste of time. I mean, look at the civil rights movement. A lot of people went to jail. A lot of people paid a pretty heavy price for that one. I mean, it's not a waste of time if you're doing what's right. Maybe I'm just too ideological, but I don't care if it's right. I think it should be done, even if it's hard or if it has a personal cost to it. I don't care. You got an arrest, and you got the bank to rescind. What? You got an arrest record, but we also got the banks to rescind new ATM fees. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Schultze, what is a real redneck? Does that have anything to do with the coal unions in West Virginia? Yeah. PBS had a wonderful documentary about the coal wars. It's like 3 hours long, but it's really good. Basically, what they were doing here, it was inhumane. I mean, they would have children in the mines. They wouldn't, coal camps was another one. They owned the houses that you rented. They owned the stores. And so they would give you, what was that? Not shills, Colescript. And they wouldn't pay you in actual money. They would pay you in Colescript. So when you went to the store, first of all, you had to buy all your own mining equipment. Second of all, they would adjust their prices so that way, if the coal wasn't doing well that month, they would up the prices in the stores. So that the workers, they owned everything. They owned all of it. And they were charging people an arm and a leg. You had no rights to the coal. I mean, these were people that would put newspapers up in their houses, all like along the walls to keep the wind and stuff out, to stay warm, because they didn't have coal in their furnaces to stay warm, because they were mining it and sending it to the rest of America to fuel the Industrial Revolution, to fuel all this business and stuff. We paid that price so that America could get rich. And when we asked for things like, hey, maybe let's have a day off every once in a while, or hey, maybe my 10-year-old shouldn't be working in a mine, we were considered radicals. And they would do things like they would hire immigrants, so there would be language barriers, so that way we couldn't talk to each other. And they would hire people that were different, like black people, so that way we would be scared of the other. And they would keep us all in different camps. You'd have an immigrant camp, and a black camp, and a white camp, so that way you could always be afraid of the other. And there was no real communication. And these were all the tactics that they used to keep us divided. And it's pretty funny how they're still doing that. Yeah. And it was Mother Jones that came in here, and she did some amazing work to get these people, because what happened was people were so used to it. They had already unionized all around West Virginia, but West Virginia, everybody had thrown in the towel with us because we were so demoralized. We couldn't fight. We didn't see the point in fighting. We were just accepting of what was given to us. And just like today, we just accepted it. We didn't see a way out or a way that we could change things. But she did it. And it was a hard fight. And yeah, we really didn't get that far ahead with it. But guess what? We did win a little bit because we don't have children in the mines anymore. We did get some work days off. I mean, it seems so little compared to what they had to go through even after that. But I mean, there was a lot of things that happened. I mean, they sent in the National Guard to fight against us, and we weren't willing. We didn't want to kill, you know. these weren't people that we saw on a different side. Like, we didn't want to harm those people, so we weren't willing to fight against them. You know, we didn't see them. They weren't the enemy. The coal companies were the enemy. And so they defeated us in that way. And they defeated us with, what was it, World War II, I think that was going on at the time. So then that happened. And so there was a lot of, commie scare. I mean, it's just a lot of things that happened to really shut all that down. So we made a few strides in it, but that's where the term redneck came from. Because these workers that were striking and were murdered, by the way, they were murdered, they were shot, they were killed, they were murdered for their beliefs and for fighting for what was right. But these people would wear red handkerchiefs around their neck so that they could, in solidarity, so they knew who. I mean, we didn't have any other way. So we wore the red handkerchiefs, and that's where the term redneck comes from. I mean, it's an old term, and it's always been used to describe pretty much workers that, were a little rebellious. And yeah, that's what I want to take it back to, because, I mean, labor rights, workforce, I mean, all this stuff, that's what's really holding us back, because there's so many people that are trapped in the survival day-to-day thing that they can't do stuff like on a political level. You can't plan for tomorrow when you're living day to day. So I fight a lot for that. I think that would go a long way into helping people be more politically aware. So I think that's a really great place to start, which I think that's why the Green New Deal is perfect. Not only are we helping the environment, but we're helping people get out of that system. I want to see actualized human beings. I want to see people live a life of meaning, which is what we don't have now. I mean, everything is stripped of its meaning. Everything is... Do y'all ever get that feeling? Like, everything is just so meaningless? When you watch TV or holidays or your work, I mean, just everything is just stripped of any kind of, like, purpose or meaning. I gotta go back up. I got on a rant, and I've been paying attention to the chat. Let's go back up. All right, there we are. I'm back on page. Yeah, you asked me about rednecks, and I was like, let me tell you about rednecks. Oh, yeah. Kevin, the potential for corruption is always there, which is why, I don't remember the quote, but it was something about, you always have to stay constantly vigilant. I mean, we can't ever get comfortable like, well, these people will take care of us, because wherever there's power, there will be corruption. Always. Bluebell, I didn't know that your grandfather was a doctor in the coal mine. Wow. That's a small world. Oh, God. I think I woke my niece up again. Hey, Benny. Expanded comprehensive Medicare for all. Yeah, I don't like the way that it's set up right now either, because first of all, dental's not included. I mean, we'll have to get into that one day. Get into like the Medicare for all plan, because just saying Medicare for all is kind of like a very generic statement. We really do need to pinpoint what exactly should be Medicare for all. Haley, newspapers on the ceiling so they could read while laying down. Yep. 16 tons, what do you get? Yep. Another day older and deeper in debt. Ain't that the truth? And it's not just with coal, let's face it. Look around you. Most people are doing that. Work their butts off. And what do they get? This is fascinating here because I thought that for some reason. Ever see or hear of the Kentucky cycle? It was about the coal industry in that state. Very similar. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of parallels between us and Kentucky. But it was the Kentucky cycle. Gotta write that one down. There's a guy that I follow. I absolutely love to hear from him. I haven't heard from him in a while. He's called the Thoughtful Coal Miner. He has a blog. He used to have a blog. Um, but he also has a YouTube channel, and he talks about his experience because he used to be a coal miner, and he rails against the friends of coal like I do, or as I like to call them, the friends of the coal companies. The Kentucky cycle. All right. Oh, Bluebell, like you've got a family history of some rebels, don't you? Civil rights people organized and went to jail to be able to get voters' rights laws passed so future generations would not have to take to the streets. But do we have voters' rights anymore? I mean, didn't they get rid of that? Um, if I remember correctly, I mean, we would have to reinstate the Rights Act. And when you look at our voting rights, it's they've been stripped away. I mean, they say that we have them, but we have no like voting integrity or anything like that. I mean, we still have suppression of votes. We still have, election rigging and stuff like that. You know, I mean, we still have every reason to take to the street. It's not like things are, they fought their fight and then now everything's fine. I mean, they did a critical part, but there's still a lot of things that need to be fixed. And it's not like everything worked out fine and, you know, black people are treated like equals and everything's all hunky dory for them, or with our voting system for that matter. Oh gosh, your uncle was murdered in 1975. Jesus, that's awful. You know what's crazy about that, Schultze, is that West Virginia does have an incredible history. I mean, it's really fascinating. I probably have to do a few videos on this because there's just so much that's happened here, but we are removed from our culture and our history. We don't get to learn about this stuff in school. You think they're going to tell us about the mine wars in school? They might put some ideas in some people's heads. No, no, no. You know what we learned about in West Virginia history? Let's see, coal. What counties are in West Virginia? You know, stuff like that, just boring stuff. They didn't tell us about the flood that wiped out thousands of people, um, and you know, pretty much killed off 18 miles of towns because of a mine dam that broke and um, just murdered everything in its path. So yeah, they don't teach that. They don't teach the stuff about the coal mines. They don't. Yeah, it might get people a little riled up. Well, just a few Indian wars and some white settlers who got their heads chopped off. Yeah. Well, we had that. I mean, we didn't. Look, I mean, all I got to go on is the history books, so it may not be the best source of information. But from what I've read, because we had a lot of Cherokee and Shawnee here, and we kind of got along fairly well as far as like trade and stuff went. But I'd have to look more into that, because I'm sure it wasn't like, I know how they like to frame things like, hey, everybody got along fine, and the Indians, they just went out to reservations because they're nice people and they wanted to give us land. You know, that kind of thing. So I definitely want to look more into that because, I mean, it's really hard to find information on it though that isn't like completely and totally biased. Wouldn't you like to know? You have so many people want to vote Republican. It amazes me. A vote for the Republicans like voting to go back in time. I mean, you had no workers' rights. Yeah, it blows my mind too. Like, I get, like, it all comes down to this rage against the Democrats. I mean, people were diehard Democrats here. And eventually they just realized the Democrats didn't have their back. So to lash out against them, they went Republican. I guess they thought that that was the better option. And it, you know, also too, it doesn't help that they own every single media outlet here. That everything that gets pumped out into the world of West Virginia has a Republican slant on it. Every information that they get from either TV or radio or newspaper is pro-Republican. And they have personal experience with how terrible the Democrats have cheated them. Although, in that coal history during the Green New Deal chat, yeah, I mean, that's why I fight for that stuff. I know the coal, you know, they keep promises, well, we're going to give you your coal jobs. I don't want your damn coal jobs. I've seen what the coal jobs has done to people. I've seen the drug abuse. I've seen the death. I've seen the mangled bodies. When I worked in the ICU, when we would get miners that came in, I've seen the injuries. I would not wish that on anybody. I wouldn't even wish that on Joe Manchin or Jim Justice himself. I know what it does. I know what it does to our environment. I know what it does to our wages. And we still have politicians promising us these coal jobs. Like, that's something that we should want. Ugh. Buddy, coal gets me up on my soapbox. Bluebell, come from a long line of rabble-rousing commies. Well, you're in good company. Well, my grandma was. Her dad, on the other hand, worked for the coal mines, and he was a terrible person. He was a terrible person. I mean, he was like one of the big bosses. So you can imagine the kind of nefarious shit he got into. I mean, this was the same guy that went and talked to my grandma because she tried to tell him that black people weren't any different, and he refused to speak to her after that. I mean, she was dead to him. About like, at like, how old was she? Like 8? Lived in the same house, wouldn't speak to her. But yeah, my grandma raised me, so that's where I get this from. She didn't care if it was her dad or whoever it was. She didn't care. She'd tell him. She'd tell him. Hey, Anthony. Yeah, your vote doesn't really count anyway. Yeah, they don't teach about labor movements. Howard Zinn's People's History of the U.S. Oh no, there goes my pen. Oh, okay. I might just pull an all-nighter. Not that I'm going to keep y'all up all night, but I'm going to be honest. It's 4 o'clock. It's 4:15 in the morning. I got to be up at like 6. If I go to sleep now, I doubt I'm going to be able to get up and get my son to school. Alright. No. Joe Manchin wouldn't last an hour in the mine. And you know what I thought was funny when Trump came here and he was talking to people, you know, the coal miners, and he was talking about his hairspray that he uses on his hair and all this, and I'm like, buddy, you don't even know, like, this is not New York. You cannot just talk about your hairspray here, all right? You're a man, all right? Like, that's how we see it here. It's like, you're a man and you're talking to us about your hairspray and your hair care, like, routine. And the fact that when they tried to put that coal mining hat on him, like, he really, you could tell he was like, he didn't want to do it because it would mess up his hair. But then he was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it. This is happening. You know, when he was like acted like, he's like, you know, mining coal. And he was like, did that little thing. It reminded me of like Zoolander. We had him in there like mining coal. Buddy, this dude don't know a thing about physical labor. None. Yeah, I've heard that the Yellow Vests are expanding to other countries, and I've heard that it's try to catch on here. I would really like it to expand to other countries before we get a hold of it and ruin the meaning of it. To be honest, I know people are buying the vests as a fashion statement, or you know, for solidarity. They're buying them. We're buying for solidarity. We ain't taking to the streets for solidarity. You know, we're not stopping the means of production for solidarity, but we'll buy a yellow vest that we'll never wear out in public. So please, please, other countries, get on the bandwagon before we co-opt it and ruin it. Yeah, I'm getting that from you, Blue Belt. Same here. Sleep is not something that comes easy to me. Okay, so I'm in good company with some fellow insomniacs. All right. 1 year, first half of my day was PE for some reason. Can't remember why. Missing some PE credits. Yeah, that's all I could think about. When he's in that cold body, he's like, You know, buddy, you ain't meant for it. Don't act like it. Oh, hey, Derek. Let's see. Yeah, we're buying vests from China to show solidarity with France. Egypt banned the sale of them. Yeah, I'd love to start that. And you know what? I think that we should start that again here in West Virginia. Look, I don't know when we started this whole bootlicking thing and why we started selling for scraps and stuff, but we have a long history of shit stirring. You know what I mean? Like the same people that are out there and saying, "Well, cops have really hard jobs," are the same people that are out there on a Saturday night fucking with the cops. You know what I mean? Like they're out there, cops show up. Hey man, why are you letting off fireworks at 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the winter? You know? And they're like, screw you, it's America, I can do what I want. Cops trying to shut me down. But then in the same breath, and they turn around, they're like, yeah, we gotta protect the cops, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like we bow down to power, thinking that if we do that, maybe they'll throw us some scraps this way. It ain't gonna happen. Yeah, because banning the sale of vests will totally derail the revolution. Yeah, I was gonna start a revolution, but I couldn't get my vest. And I mean, how could I protest without the proper attire? It's so ridiculous. Oh, hey, Rosenfield. Hey, I checked out one of your videos earlier. I'm going to have to look into more of your videos because I saw one earlier. I thought it was so good. I love the way that you laid it out with like the pros, the cons. I mean, and that's kind of where I was at with it, with the whole reforming the Democratic Party. It's like, well, I mean, I get it, but these are your obstacles. And if you do third party, these are your obstacles. You know, but I'm going to have to watch more of your videos. It was good. All right, Benny, you go get some sleep. Oh, happy birthday! Hopefully you do a birthday live stream. I gotta work Friday, but I try to sneak in whenever I can. Oh, why does Zoom in? Why does it do that? I don't want it. We don't need Zoom. We don't need that Zoom. There we go. And we're back to Zoom later. I'm sorry. It's so hilarious to me. I don't know. Maybe it's the lack of sleep talking. The revolution of fashion. I love it, Haley. Come to the revolution. My hair will be perfect. Only the best hairspray, right? Y'all are great. All right, how long have we been going? We've been going for almost an hour. I swear to God. I try to keep these short and brief, you know. And y'all always get me gabbing. And then next thing you know, it's an hour later. And I'm totally derailed. A new Green Deal also means weaning away from fossil fuel. Most cars. Why does this zoom? Most cars 10 years old or less can use that E85 ethanol with just a change of programming in the computer. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, I've heard about that. That is just like a computer thing. Jeremy Sex is asleep now. Oh, well, I don't know. It's a risky thing to sleep. Because it's 4:20, man. I gotta be up at 6. Why is it? Oh, no. No intense zooming. Why is... Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go to sleep or do something else now. Because for some reason, I think it's where I'm trying to scroll up and chat. And for some reason, my phone, probably because it's cracked, it keeps registering like I'm trying to zoom in. So you might get some intense zooms every once in a while. Maybe on an eyebrow or something. Oh, no shot. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed the live stream and my nose. If I owned the oil, I would sit on it until everyone else sold all theirs and would price it through the roof. Yeah, I'm so woke I don't sleep. I don't know. I've always been like this. Even when I was a kid, I'd always just lay awake. See, when I was a kid, I would think about space. And that was the thing that really messed up my mind. I'm like, all right, so then there's all these planets, and then there's Pluto, and then there's after Pluto, there's this. And I'm like, but what's after that? What's after that? Like, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. So I was just like lay there and I'd think about it all the time. And so now, instead of thinking about like the endless, capacity of space, I think about the endless greed of our country. Oh, yeah, I need to get back into Twitter. I probably haven't checked Twitter in like a year. It just got to like a really weird place. You did that too, Rosenfeld? Didn't that? I mean, that blew my mind. That blew my mind because it's just like when you meet the end of one thing, there's got to be something else like beside it, and like I would draw like pictures. I'm like, okay, so there's where this is, and this is where that is. So then, what's the thing that's next? And how does it constantly expand? But science was never my deal. Like, I know some basics. I'll leave that to Snork. All right. What's this? Oh yeah. Well, I guess I'm still a kid. I mean, I'm 31, so I don't know. But I try to stay young. I do like cartoons and I do like to color, so I do what I can. Oh shoot, Bluebell. Yeah, I know. See where I work with a bunch of teenagers, and I'm always like, they make me feel so old. They do. I'm just like, they're 16. They're talking to me. I'm like, I am old enough to be your mother. You need to stop this. What's it? These guys were testifying about stuff we hear and suspect our police of doing every day, but deal with heavy resistance and even the possibility of death. Their honesty was like nothing I've ever seen. What's this? What are you talking about? I missed something somewhere. See, Bluebell, see, that's the thing. I've met people from a lot of different ages, and I'm telling you, it's all about your outlook. It is all about your outlook. You stay young. That's what you're doing. As long as you got that spirit, That's what really counts. Schulte, what is that you're talking about? Where did you see this? This is really interesting. Forsaken. I was reading science fiction from a really early age, just assuming that Beyond was a teeming alien network. Oh yeah, I grew up on like Star Trek, and Stephen King books. I started reading Stephen King way too early. It probably messed me up a little bit. Yeah. There you go, Bluebell. There you go. Exactly. Go ahead. You're gonna arrest. You're gonna. You're gonna arrest or manhandle an old native lady. All right. You feel like a big man. You feel like a big man. You feel like you got a lot of power. You're doing the right thing. Manhandling old native lady. Yeah. Oh no, there's players on your team that can't even drink yet. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, well, I was talking about well, it's not my car, it's my sister's car that I drive. And we were talking about, cars at work. And they were like, what car's your car? And I was like, oh, it's a 2003. And they were like, oh, I was born in 2004. I was like, oh my God, you're as old as my car. Yeah, that'll make you feel old. It's like these kids I'm working with are the same age as my car. Fox 5 Live this morning. Okay. Yeah, I'll look that up. Fox 5 Live. That's interesting that they'd have that on there. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest difference I've noticed with cops is the difference between like urban and rural cops. Like rural cops are like way more chill, but that's just with my area. Now it could be because in the more rural areas, it's like all white people. In like the urban areas that we have, that's like typically where because black people do not live up hollers. It just does not happen here. So maybe they're nicer because there's less people to police, or because they're more familiar with, you know, their community and know who's in it. I don't know. It could be a racist thing. I don't know. I mean, we did have a cop that got fired for like doing some racist stuff or being in the KKK or something. I don't know. Or KKK sentiments. I don't think we have like an active KKK here, but probably like behind the scenes or something. It's not like they would really advertise that. Oh no. No, Jeremy, we had a throwback night. We had a throwback. It was an old school night. Um oh, what was it? I think it was the 90s. It was the 90s and they called it old school night. And I died a little inside. No, that messed me up. When they had that old school night and I was like, is that old school now? I had to stop and think about it. I was like, oh, am I old school now? When did this happen? And just with that one commercial on the radio, I aged like 50 years. Like I just felt the arthritis set in and I was like, ugh, I'm old school. No. When did this happen? Yeah, Michael, the same thing here. It's like, I mean, it's not like I've got like a vendetta against the police, but you know, I gotta say, I get a lot stressed out when they're around. Like super stressed out. Like when I see them out, I don't feel safer. I'm like, oh God, am I doing anything wrong? I mean, do I look shady? This guy I work with, he was sitting outside getting ready for work, and it's cold out, like 30 degrees, all right? All he's got on is a hoodie. He puts the hood up because it's 30 degrees. The cops stop where he's at and ask him for ID. Why? Because he was looking suspicious by putting his hood up. You mean because it's fucking cold outside? So stupid. I was like, they had no right. You were breaking no laws. You were doing nothing wrong. I got so livid. He's like telling me this, like, no, it's like all nonchalantly. And I was like, they did what? Yeah, Nirvana's classic rock. And you know what's really going to make me feel old is when people start reminiscing about, like, Justin Bieber and Nicki Minaj. And they're like, man, I wish they made music like they did back in the day. I was born in the wrong generation. Richard Pryor and these special needs kids, and they think what they were when he runs into the Klan. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Oh, wow. Yeah, Bluebell. I don't know. I've always felt like that, though. I've always felt old. You know, I don't know if it's just like a stress thing. Like, I've always had, like, middle-aged stress. You know what I mean? Like, I've always had, like mortgage stress in my soul. Like, I've always just walked around, like, while other kids are, like, playing and laughing and having fun, I'm just like, oh, God, the world is not good. I don't know how we're gonna pay our bills this month. Oh, ooh. Yeah, like, I had an ulcer by the age of 8. No, not really, but yeah, pretty much. That's just always how I've been. I guess, poverty ages you a little bit faster, makes you grow up a little bit faster. You don't have, like, oh, you don't have the luxury of staying young. And I've met people that have come from, middle class, or um, in a better position, and they're the same age as me, but they're like 10 years behind me, if that makes any sense. Like, they're still worried about, going to the bars and meeting guys, and I don't know, whatever it is young people do, listen to music or whatever it is. I don't know. I've never been into it. Derek said my cousin was a cop and would pull me friends over with a 30 pack of beer. We'd take it and we would go back to the liquor store. Oh, God, that sounds like something that would happen here. In New Jersey, the cops are very lenient to whites and harsh to minorities. There's towns, if you're in a car with a person of color, it's a matter of time before you get stopped. It's very prejudiced. Yeah, I do not doubt that. I don't doubt that. That's what I'm wondering, because, like, in here, I wouldn't rule out the whole racist thing, but I mean, I think that's certainly a factor. But I think sometimes in these smaller communities, it's just you know who you're pulling over. It's not an other kind of thing. Like, it's us, and then there's this other, and that's the problem with, like, a lot of this, like, city policing, is they're so disconnected. They're not even people to them. They don't care what happens to them. It's a power thing. I mean, that's why you see, like, even black cops, they react a lot, the same way. It's a power structure for sure. George Bailey in Wonderful Life. I haven't seen that movie in like 10 years, but I don't really remember movies. Like after so many years, it's wiped from memory. Hey, Mammoth. Why is anyone else up? Oh, because we're in the Insomniac Club. Oh, that's awful, Bluebell. Yeah, train again. Maybe that's why I have insomnia. Constant trains. Yeah, I mean, and I think about that too, because I'm like, I'm a white girl, and I know how much I'm scared of the cops. So I can't imagine like being in like a big city and being, slightly browner to any degree, and yeah, having to deal with the cops. I mean, it's got to be really scary, especially if you've got kids, because it's one thing to worry about yourself, but then you got to worry about your kids, and then what do you tell them? I was raised, you know, that the cops were the good guys, and then I found out that they are not. Cop culture, yeah, I think there's probably a lot of factors to it. I mean, with something that, like a problem like that that's so big and so prevalent, it's probably not any. I mean, I wouldn't point to one specific thing and say, "Yep, that's the thing." But I think it's a combination of things that, racism, cop culture. I know that there was a big defunding of cops, so now that um, they're working and they don't have the backup that they need and stuff like that. Also, the training that they get is, they're trained to think that everybody's around the corner waiting to shoot them when that's just not the case. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons to it, but it all adds up to our cops are not working for us. Hey, independent. Hey, good to see you. I know, independent. It's hard to believe, but yeah, I am white. You'd never guess it from my pale, ghostly complexion, but I am white. Yeah, the militarization of cops. There, lots of factors. What? I missed something. Somebody say we can't talk about the president? We better talk about that in our policies. What would the police not be on the alert when everyone else is being trained not to trust each other? Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the culture all around, isn't it? I mean, just distrust everywhere. Moontan. Whenever I play the guitar, just my fingers turn black. Oh, I just bought a guitar. I just bought a guitar for $20. I really don't know how to play. I tried to play. I tried to learn how to play back in high school. Um, and I was thinking about getting back into it. I kind of know dueling banjos. I know that's so cliche, so stereotypical, but yeah, kind of know dueling banjos. Freebird. Play Freebird! Oh, stop beeping at me. Phone's going crazy. I would love to learn how to play Freebird. I'm telling you, I know that's such a redneck thing, but it is like church for me whenever I hear Freebird. I'm just like listening to it, I'm like, like it is. I love that song. Love it. Oh my God, Bluebell. The sheriff in my town was literally starving inmates and pocketing the money he was allotted to feed them with, and it was totally legal. Oh my God, that's sick. All right. All right. I might get a copyright strike for this, but we're going to do this. I don't even know if this is in tune. We're going to try it out, though. Now, it's been like 10 years since I played, so you're going to have to listen to my really cruddy guitar. All right. Yeah, that's about all I know. Oh, Lord. Yeah. So those are my sweet guitar skills, y'all. Did you say that getting a guitar? Getting a chord book is simple, a fun way to start. Whenever you get bored, learn a simple scale and play it up and down and back again. Demonetized. Yeah. I don't know, what will I do without my 25 cents I get a month from YouTube. I can't believe I played that and I didn't mess it up. Dust in the Wind. Oh, that's another good one. Oh, what was the other one? I think I might know one more. Okay. Oh yeah, this is definitely out of tune. That's what sounds horrible. Ew. Okay, I'm not gonna put y'all through that. I'll have to tune it somehow, because that's bad. It's supposed to be Love Me Tender, but not so much. Yeah, I always got frustrated. Like, I learned a couple of songs, like the first, 20 seconds of a song, and then I'd get frustrated, and I'd be like, well, I suck at this, and I'd, throw my guitar down, and I wouldn't touch it again for a while. But now I know, I'm not going to be, amazing at it, the first time I pick it up, so it takes a lot of work and practice and all that. But back then I was, 17, so yeah, I didn't get that then. Oh, yeah, Simon's got to go to work. Alright. That sounds not fun. Alright, well, stay safe. Elvis's Pope Salad Annie. I don't think I've heard that one. I've always been more of a piano person. when I was in Upward Bound, there was a girl that was my roommate, and she was a genius. And I'm not even talking about just schooling wise. I mean, she was in all these advanced classes, but she could hear any instrument she could pick up. And you could play anything for her, and she could play it. I mean, just she was insanely talented. But she taught me a few songs on the piano, and I don't know, I've got really big hands for a girl. So like the guitar's kind of hard for me sometimes. Um, but the piano, man, like I love that. She taught me In the End, Linkin Park, Evanescence, My Immortal. We actually did a talent show one time where we like did dual, like I was on one part of the piano, she was on the other part, and we did In the End. And we rocked it. It was so cool. Let's see. Years ago, I figured out how to play Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls on a warp bass. I had. Wait, oh no. Come back. I had, and my across the street neighbor was telling me how great I played. Yeah. Right. Elvis live version of that in Vegas. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, lefties do fight. We do fight a lot. I mean, that's the problem with, like, not, like, just blindly following a message. You know? So I think that's a lot of the reason for the infighting. But I don't think it should be infighting. I don't like the infighting. I wish we would have more discussions. Like, why can't we just have a rational discussion and exchange of facts? And let's talk about this. You present your point and I'll present mine. And let's see what kind of agreement we can come to. It doesn't make us enemies. Like, why do we have to, oh, you think different than me? You have different information than me. Well, uh, you're co-opting. Well, all right. All right, I'm really gonna hop off of here. I should probably wash clothes. Make sure, I have stuff ready for my boy in the morning. Oh my god. And plus I'm getting to the point where I'm just rambling now. And I'm playing guitar. Oh, poorly. Alright. I really appreciate y'all hanging out with me and spending some insomniac time here discussing things of great and little importance. Alright. Well, I'll catch you guys next time. Yeah, if y'all have a topic for the next discussion, that would be awesome. Because a lot of these times I just do them on a whim. There's no really, just whatever takes me at the moment. You know what I mean? Or stuff that's just been rolling around my brain for a while. That kind of thing. So I always enjoy, and a lot of these ideas, like the workers' rights video we did, that was a good one that I think it was the Natural Progressive came up with. But yeah, sometimes, like, a lot of times y'all like say some stuff and it sets off something in there. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna run with that. Like, it gets the brain going. It gets the brain all fired up. I like that. All right. Chauncey, what? You have a friend in Charleston, West Virginia? I live in Charleston, West Virginia, dude. Well, around abouts. Like, it's like a close drive. Like I drive, I mean, if you watch some of the videos I did where it was like, where you see me driving, you can see the road. That's me driving through Charleston to get to work. Dude. That's so cool. Small world, man. Alright. Can we do book reading series? Is that... Would YouTube yank a video? Because, I mean, I would totally... I'd love to read some Chris Hedges with y'all or something. Or do a book club at the very least. I don't mind that. Alright. Oh, so you can read books on here? That would be awesome. Huh. Oh, that's really... that's crazy. It is a small world. Alright. I'm gonna go, like, do adult stuff. Like laundry or something. I don't know. Alright. Love you guys. Stay safe. And, I'll catch you next time. No, how do I do this? How do I get out? Okay, there it is. Alright, good night.